Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dugout Podcast. My name is Adetola Oluwaseyi Roberts. I'm joined by Soccer Chatterbox and my co-host, Sir Tio J.
You know how we do.
Yeah, I don't know how you do. I don't know how they do. And they hijack now.
You know how they do now. The pepper house now, steady.
Pepperoni pizza.
Steady.
Say the pepper. Say the pepper house now.
Chatterbox.
Which kind pepper be that?
Chatterbox say he has. I'm waiting for his exclusive. Because I was saying I was waiting for Miles Lewis Kelly to Chelsea. Here we go. Oh god. Chatterbox, how far are you doing now?
I'm really good, man. Thanks for having me, and hello to everyone that is joining us on the live stream as well.
All right, welcome. So, a lot has been happening in the world of sports. Personally, where I want to start, I want to start from. I would have said we start from there, but we could probably come back. We'll probably come back to that.
Start now. No problem.
You know what? Let's just start from there.
Uh-huh.
The Super Falcons of Nigeria, Tola.
Yep.
We needed to beat Cameroon to ensure that we not only make it to the semi-finals of the WAFCON, but to get an automatic qualification to the World Cup, Women's World Cup that will be holding in Brazil next year. And somehow we just fluffed our lines. At the start of the tournament, many people were saying, oh, this team now, this is not the team that we are used to seeing. Their performances seem to be lackluster. Remember the first game against Malawi, who were making their debut in the tournament. Somehow we lost that game by 3-2. And in the next game against the Barbara Banda-led Zambia, it looked like, okay, maybe we could actually get our acts together. And we did. We won that game by a goal to nil. We shot, I think, in the third or fourth minute, and that was it. We just managed to win that particular one. But in the last game in the group against Egypt, we won that game by 6-2. If I'm not mistaken, we scored 3 penalties in that game. But the fact that Egypt scored 2 goals against us was a cause for concern. But hey, everybody was talking about the fact that after all we are qualified, how difficult can it be? We're not going to face Cameroon. Cameroon scored that free kick and that was it. Nigeria had 11 shots in that game. Only one was on target. And somehow that was the end of it. Now we can still qualify. You can still qualify, but it will be a very, very tedious route because we are looking at playing multiple rounds of matches in a playoff that will see us play several opponents, starting with, I think, I think South Africa or so. So we can still make it to the World Cup next year. But my question is, let me direct it to Chatterbox. The leadership of the NFF is seeking re-election. And this is the leadership of the NFF. And let's not forget, on the same day that the Falcons lost to Cameroon, our Wafu B team was, I think we played in the finals against Burkina Faso. We needed to win that game to qualify for the Under-20 World Cup. We lost that game as well. We will not be going to the Under-20 World Cup. Now, this has seen, under this administration of the NFF, it has seen us lose out on going to the Men's World Cup held in America, Canada, and Mexico, potentially not going to the Women's World Cup that going in Brazil next year, and the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. So against with the scorecard on the table, what should this NFF board come back and lead the Super Eagles or to lead Nigerian football for the next 4 years? Chatterbox, I'm let me direct this on that.
Exactly, because he should be the one to take this one. Because if I should say what's in my mind, then it's like I'm repeating myself.
You get why? Now why I make I make an ask Chatterbox. So Chatterbox, are you with
us? This board, honestly, I think for self-respect purposes, they should just they should just walk, right? In summary, right? You've already stated the obvious reasons. The men's national team missing out on the second successive World Cup. We're talking about at the youth level, it is it is funny that we would miss out on an under 20 World Cup. Uh,
Mm.
which, yeah, it is. It is funny. It's not something that hasn't happened before, but it is something that you would find surprising if you follow Nigerian sports very closely. Um, all these things is down to all this is down to how they prioritize um football in this country, right? I'll give you something that happened. I'll come to the Falcons first, and I think that's where my pain is usually more, because in general I feel that women's sports in this country is grossly mishandled and neglected,
Mm.
right? This year, I'll never forget it. This year, when we announced friendlies for the men's national team, senior
Yes.
national team, friendlies against Jordan, Iraq, Portugal, for a team that wasn't going to be playing any tournament this summer. The tournament they even eventually went for was the Unity Cup, right? The team played in that tournament and played friendlies, but nothing was really announced for the Falcons, who were going to be playing and defending their WAFCON title in July.
Mm.
Not one
Mm.
friendly was announced. This
Mm.
team was just allowed to exist, right? The moment they won the last WAFCON and made it
WAFCON.
10, yeah, WAFCON and made it 10, I just feel that the NFF just left that team alone. The team just managed to get together, have like a short time in camp, then flew in for the tournament. And for some reason, all of us that most people that were watching them just thought that they would just come and repeat what they did in the last edition. I always knew that this was going to be the result. And I don't blame any single one of those players, because the truth of the matter is that they were grossly neglected in the build up to this tournament. There was no real support in terms of how they were going to prepare for this tournament. And that is what has shown in the games. It's not like as if they played poorly, but the mistakes that they made, especially in the game against Malawi, you wouldn't really see it from these girls, or these ladies, if they were properly managed, if they were given
Mm.
the proper build up to it, if they were playing proper friendlies, had preparations for them to be in camp sooner than they should have been before flying out
Mm.
to the tournament. But and it's the same thing with the under 20s. Gross neglect in terms of how they prepare these teams. You hear various stories of how the camps, so many issues with the camping, with the logistics, with how they get to the game, so many things. All these things, they sound small, but they all matter, and that's usually the difference between us and other teams and other countries
Mm.
that go ahead to do well in these competitions. And this NFF board has had a record of constantly neglecting these bits of national team management. It always seems like there is no plan. You just let these people come and play, and wherever we reach is wherever we reach. The only team that is given any sort of level of priority is the Super Eagles. And guess what? Even at that, those guys didn't make the second the second for the second time we've not made a World Cup. It's ridiculous. A team of the quality that we have twice is ridiculous.
Mm.
I can't understand how anybody will still want to go and stand for election. Uh, it's terrible. To miss the one in the US for me was even should be the last straw, and should be the reason why they shouldn't even contest. So I hope that they have some kind of self respect, because they really shouldn't be running this. Um, they we have a technical director that doesn't direct nothing.
Hey, stop it.
Doesn't
Hey,
direct
hey, 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 hey.
Yeah,
No,
stop it.
now.
Yeah.
No, now.
what
No,
now?
now. That one
Are
go
you
far.
kidding me? No,
Don't go
no,
far.
no.
You say we
I,
have a
I'm
technical
good.
director that don't.
No,
Uh,
I may be wrong.
and
I may be wrong. I may be
everything you have
wrong.
said, everything you have said, as far as the Falcons is concerned, is very, very correct. There were friendly games lined up. I think two windows. That would have been four games, and the girls didn't
Yeah.
play any of them at all.
Not.
And I'm seeing people blaming the coach. I'm seeing people blaming the players. My question is, at what time do we blame the administrators? Because you are responsible for putting the team together. And by the team, I mean the players, I mean I mean the backroom staff. I also mean basically the coaches and whatnot. And so I have my own personal reservations about a couple of things that I saw. But it's very good. It's going to be very difficult for me to throw a man that won the tournament the last time out under the bus, especially when he took over the Falcons at a time when there was so much disunity in the squad. And it seemed like nobody wanted that job. It seemed like it was the poison chalice at the time. Justin Madwood came, he took over the job, and he won the WAFCON. I think that was our 10th title. The girls were promised a couple of things around that time when they won the title. Mr. President made a couple of promises to them. Some have been fulfilled. But the monetary one that everybody was talking about at the time, $100,000, a year after, it still hasn't come to fruition. And this is one of the things that we talk about in Nigerian football. A lot of the things that we see that we begin to ask ourselves certain questions. That if it were abroad or in Sena climes, as the case may be, I know Sena climes are really always as sane as we make them out to be, but I've seen people resign because their national teams fail to make it to the World Cup. I'm talking about people, I mean administrators. I've seen some administrators actually step down because their team made it to the World Cup but underperformed at the World Cup, or underperformed at the tournament. Do you understand? And we begin to ask ourselves questions like, what kind of foundation are we laying? It's been laid already. We're just basically just building on it, where we reward mediocrity and we celebrate people that have underperformed so much. It's really, really sad. And like I said, everything you have said is apt. I'm only hoping that we're able to, it's going to be tedious, but I would really love for the girls to be at the World Cup next year. Because since we started going to the World Cup, we have never missed out on the World Cup. We have never missed out on the Women's World Cup. Although we haven't won it, but we have never missed out on it. The United States may look like superpowers, but Japan won the World Cup with the bulk of their girls playing in the country and with a backroom staff made up of, I think everybody in that backroom staff was Japanese. So it's possible. It's very, very possible. And we have talented players scattered across the world playing their football at the highest level as far as women's football is concerned. But somehow, that freak just buried our chances of winning an 11th title out of 14. Pretty sad, but hey, what do I know? We're just sport analysts here. Let us move on. I know a lot. Let's move on to Europe. You say charity begins at home, but there's nothing charitable about what's happening in our football. Let's move to where we are seeing all the excitement. Tola, I saw something that Fabrizio posted. He's saying
That
something
what?
along the lines of after this transfer window, he's not going to be taking transfers again. Baba wants to move on.
Do
And
what?
I have no idea. I have no. He said he will give and he will give a reason. I know the man has come under fire a lot during this period. But the last person I want to be getting my transfer news from is Tola. Please, Fabrizio, don't go anywhere. We are begging. But let's start off. Let's start off with the Gunners. Let's start off with the Gunners. Bruno Guimaraes. It was only a matter of time, but Arteta has gotten his man. The last time we were here, we are talking about Vinicius Junior, and it was looking unlikely at the time. We had a very lengthy conversation about Vini and whatnot. But Bruno coming into the Arsenal midfield now, Tola, what happens to the dynamics of your midfield? I'm talking about setting up onto the field of play. Who gets dropped, or what's the dynamic going to be like in the Arsenal team right now?
Well, right now, the truth is we don't even know who's gonna get dropped. We what we know is who's gonna start, and what we
Mm,
know is Declan Rice is gonna start in that midfield. That's a
definitely,
fact.
definitely. Declan
That's
Rice is it?
for now.
Definitely.
Now the thing now is it depends on what the manager wants from these players, what he feels he wants to achieve with the team. Because you have a midfield of Rice, Eze, Gimares, Zubimendi, Odegaard, Lewis Kelly. There's 6 players that you could decide to start any 3 at any time, depending on the opposition or the game at hand. Now, what I believe Bruno Guimaraes brings in is something like what Declan Rice also brings in. You have someone that can play box to box, that can give those long passes, and he's also a workhorse. He doesn't really get tired. He has a lot of energy, and he's also a fighter. So that is it. What I think may happen is we get to see a lot of rotation, a lot of different, depending on the matchup, depending on the opposition. At times you might see Declan Rice, Gimares, and Odegaard. There are times you might see Declan Rice, Lewis Kelly, and Eze, or Eze, Lewis Kelly, and Gimares. Depending. The only thing we know is that if it's an important game, the players that the manager will go for, and we already know them. Declan Rice is one of them. Odegaard is also one of them, and Odegaard's form since the World Cup has been actually fantastic, and everybody has been commending him. Even the last game against the one we played against Dortmund. I mean, yes, we lost the game, but you could see that he's sort of regaining this 2023-24 sharpness back. So Gimares for me is an addition. I mean, he's not a marquee signing like Declan Rice when we signed Declan Rice. I mean, when we signed Declan Rice, a lot of Arsenal fans believed that we were winning the league. I mean, we felt that we signed someone that could actually win us the league. This Gimares signing, for me, is more of a player that will come and complement what we already have. He's a good player. He's a fantastic player. And he's proven. And, I mean, I have my reservations from him, and the reservation is not that he can't play, but it's that he's not a player that we are signing that says that we are going to win the league. No, it's a signing that says that we won the league last year. We want to double down on it and have that complementing piece that even if we have some key players injured or out, he can come in and deputize, or maybe not even deputize, sometimes even play just as good as some of those players. And look at the midfield, really, the only profile of player you can say he resembles is Declan Rice. He doesn't play like Eze, he doesn't play like Odegaard, he doesn't play like Lewis Kelly, he doesn't play like Zubimendi, maybe not to an extent, but you look at him, look at Rice, you see similarities, similar builds, similar play style and everything. So I believe it's more of like, okay, today we might decide not to go with Rice, we go with Gimares. Today we might decide to go with both of them. For me, let's just see what happens in the first couple of games of the season. I mean, it's coming in on a 75 million, either it's euros or pounds. We really can't say right now.
No,
so it's coming on
actually.
Euros. So it's coming on some good money.
I think euros, yeah.
Yeah. But the only person is not going to bench in that midfield is probably is Declan Rice, and maybe probably what's it called? Odegaard. Okay. So the thing is, it just depends on the midfield 3 that the manager wants to go with on the day and the opposition. That's what I think.
All right. So Chatterbox, I'm looking at it from another perspective.
By the way, Emmanuel has been. I don't know which Emmanuel this is. There's an Emmanuel on the. It's been on the. A couple of guys are on the. They're on the waiting list. I think. Let me see if they are here. That's Emmanuel, and that's cool guy.
What's Emmanuel doing here?
Which of the Emmanuel?
Which other Emmanuel again?
The man fans, Baba, come up for this trip fast.
What is Emmanuel doing here?
Come up for this trip fast.
But, oh God!
Okay. We can't see your faces and there's no avatar there. So I think, guys, if you're going to come online and you can't show your faces, you can always tweak on the settings and put either your picture or an avatar.
Put your picture like an avatar, so that
like
guys that are watching,
like
something like Chatterbox just did. An idea.
Oh, hey, welcome on board.
It might have been itching to get on this live. It might have been itching to get on. I want you to understand what if you talk anyhow, I yank you off. I yank you
No
away.
problem.
Please.
I'll be as civil as possible.
All right, no problem. Cool guy, cool guy. This is the first time joining us. If you can hear me, just say something so that we know that you're here with us. You might want to unmute yourself. You're currently muted. Cool guy.
Okay.
All right, all right.
Can you,
So maybe.
I'm going to take him off. If he's still here, then I know that
Yeah, he's still
he's
all
here.
right.
So
Very good.
let me just put him down
All
first.
right. So
Anyway,
before Emmanuel joined, Tola was talking. I asked Tola about. I don't know, Emmanuel. Did you listen to everything Tola said? Were you hearing what he was saying about the
Yeah, I
Arsenal
was
midfield?
listening. I was
Fantastic.
listening.
All right. So with that in mind, I'm of the opinion that okay, Tola, Arsenal is Tola's team, and he
I
spoke
mean,
really. He spoke really
um,
well. He spoke really well. Now, me, I'm trying not to banter because in as much as we banter, I like where we can drop very, very good analysis as well. So I'm of the opinion that Tola spoke from a standpoint of yes, some players are untouchable. It's like that in almost every squad. But we also need to look at the fact that form, injuries, fitness will play a role in how the manager decides to line up his team. At a point last season, Zubimendi looked like he was untouchable in the Arsenal midfield until he wasn't anymore. At the point also, Gyökeres looked like he was untouchable after the price tag and everything until he wasn't anymore. So, Emma, who do you think with the signing of Bruno Guimaraes? You're not an Arsenal fan, clearly. For those that don't know, he's a Man U fan, an avid one at that.
United.
Who do you think? What do you think the signing of Guimaraes does to the dynamic of the Arsenal midfield? Let me ask you as a neutral.
Okay, honestly, I think the starting players will be Rice, Bruno, and Odegaard. Odegaard and Rice seems to be untouchable by Ateta at the moment. Like Odegaard will play some games is non-existent, or he does controlling or passes backwards, but the coach doesn't seem to drop him. Understand? Rice does the box to box, so I think they'll make Bruno sit as the lone DM while
Okay.
Rice does the box to box. Understand? That's what I think they'll play. So um, Eze can be a substitution for Odegaard. That is the like for like substitution that he would most likely use. While Zubimendi can be for um, either Bruno Guimaraes or Odegaard, Declan Rice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think he's going to do.
All right. Chatterbox. While still on the topic, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I agree with Tola that this wasn't really a signing that uh, moves us now to like a new level of sorts that they're coming to dominate per se, but it makes sense that they brought him in because if you look at what the minutes that Rice and Zubimendi racked up, you can't have that again in another season. So, but there was always the concern that
No, it's
Arteta didn't
possible.
trust.
Oh. It's possible. You can
Wait,
rack it up.
wait,
Oh. I was looking
wait.
at my. No, no, hold on. I'm actually agreeing with you, but I'm looking at the cost at which it should come. My brother Morris was here a couple of weeks ago. So he showed me something on Rodri, how many minutes Rodri played in back to back to back seasons, so that at the end of the day, the moment he pulled or tore his ACL, nobody was surprised. But I agree with what you are saying. With the numbers that Declan Rice pulled last season were unreal. And expecting him to pull it in consecutive seasons, it might come at a cost. But go on. Sorry for interrupting. I'm listening.
Yeah, so it's not just about the fact that they racked up those minutes. It's also about the fact that we know what happened to Zubimendi once it got to like a breaking point
Yeah.
where Ateta couldn't trust him, but also he couldn't trust any other person to do the job. I mean, Luis Kelly is just a beneficiary of I needed some I need someone else to play, right? So I think Ateta has looked at it that I don't need to be in this position again next season, which is why and I need to have an option that I can actually trust. Now the thing about Bruno that me I love and I believe the reason why they got him is because he's capable of playing literally three positions. He can give you
Yes.
a six performance. He can give you a
Yeah,
four
I
performance.
think it's what I was expecting. Yes.
He can give you an eight performance. And if you really think about it, he can give you a 10 performance.
Mm.
That's how that's how versatile that he is. And let's also not forget, Bruno is a long-term target. They wanted Bruno before he went to Newcastle. So it's not like as
Mm.
if they woke up one morning and thought, yeah, we want this guy. Arteta has always wanted this guy, and an opportunity came up to get him, and now he has gotten him. So I think, like Tola said, it gives Arteta room to try various combinations in
Combinations.
midfield. Yeah, so depending on the opponent, you can decide that, you know what, I don't really need a 10 for this game. Oh, I need a double pivot. Oh, I need just one pivot. I think the signing of Bruno gives you that flexibility. But it also takes, for me, it takes minutes off Rice. It takes minutes off Zubimendi, especially. And then, of course, the depth in the midfield with this signing is impressive. So it's something I'm happy about because I think we needed it as a club. Um,
Okay.
so it's just to see how it goes, but I don't think it's like a real step up in terms of signing. I just feel like it's something that was required rather
Okay.
than rather than we
So
need
it's,
something to read. Yeah.
so basically you're seeing it as a reinforcement and not necessarily anything more than that. All right. So
Yeah.
we have cool guy back with us. Cool guy, are you with me? You are muted. Kindly unmute yourself. I can see you put your avatar now, so that's cool. Can you hear me?
That's cool.
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
Finally, cool guy. All right. Welcome to the dugout. Our live. I've been seeing a couple of your comments from obviously in the group and whatnot. And we appreciate you for taking our time to join us today. We're talking about transfer. We started with the WAFCON, but we moved on to transfers. Obviously starting with Arsenal because we have Arsenal fans in the house. And whenever Arsenal in the markets, things usually happen. Because everybody wants to know who's Arsenal going after, who is Arsenal, and coupled with the fact that Arsenal finally won the EPL after 22 long, tedious years. It's about time, and Arsenal going to the market.
It's not the longest drought in EPL. So I don't know why
Clearly,
everybody is
clearly,
all
clearly
about it.
not the longest drought, but as if a defending, I mean, I say defending a champion, a team that had won it serially before now. Do you understand? Not
Mhm.
winning it for that long, obviously, to become a topic. Maybe until Man U breaks. And once I will take it at them again. Oh, Emmanuel is here. Maybe until Man U breaks that record, you know. But speaking about Manchester United, I want to go to Man U because Man U. I know we were talking about this. I was with Toby today. I know Man U beat Arsenal last season. Man U beat Liverpool last season. Man U beat Chelsea last season. Who else did Man
They
U
beat
beat
Man
again last
City, I
season?
think.
They
I think
beat
they beat Man
Manchester
City last
City.
season.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They beat Man City last season. Emmanuel,
Yeah,
please,
well, back to back.
I need you to put on your camera. I want to see your face when I ask you this question because I'm directing this one at you. Emmanuel, don't run.
Run.
Imagine. But anyways, why I'm talking about Manchester United is because they signed Telemans. Yeah, and I thought with Onana coming back, they will keep him, but somehow they decided not to keep the gentleman. Uh, I'm seeing a lot of Manchester United fans believing that they could actually make a difference this season, which is not bad because they ended the season strongly last season. I don't know, cool guy. Let me give you this question. Are you with me? Can you hear me? Yes,
Yes,
he
I can
is.
hear you. Please go ahead.
All right. So Manchester United, I want to believe Dilemans is probably their response to replacing what's his name now, Casemiro, who joined the greatest of all time in the United States of America. But this Man U team right now are going to be playing in multiple competitions this season, something that they did not experience last season. The fact that they're not really as active as their counterparts in the transfer market or in this window, do you think it would affect this Man U team, or do you think that do you think it will affect them negatively, or do you think that the players that they already have are more than enough to carry them all the way to at least a title this coming season?
Thank you very much for the question. Let's be honest with ourselves. If what they had last season, they couldn't do so much. I know they beat some big teams last season, yes, but if they couldn't do so much last season with all the players they had, what makes you feel they will do better without signing this season?
Mm.
With Casemiro who left them, and of course, to me, I don't think they will do very well, except they still go to the transfer market to get one or two players to help them with the team. But for what they
Mm.
have right now, I don't see them doing very well.
Okay. Okay. Tola, I know you are. It's Manchester United. I know you have something to say.
You have something to say.
Is that the me say Emmanuel not there yet?
You don't
Yeah,
run
I
that.
have.
Man, I don't run that.
I know
Yeah,
it
I
is.
have.
Chatterbox.
Okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
Chatterbox. I dey hear you. Say what you want to talk. I don't like
Now,
your insights.
first and foremost, I would have been surprised if Man U had like serious money to spend in this window. They
Mm.
can't. They already did the big spending last year.
Mm.
With those three guys up front. So there was no way they were going to come into this window and blow the same amount of money. PSR
Mm.
rule
I'm
not
blowing the same
allowed.
amount of money.
They can't do it. It's not that they don't. They just can't do it. If you notice, they went off. They were in with a lot of players. Your Tonali, Matheus Fernandez. They were in for all those guys. But when you look at the money that those guys were going for, man, you just one thing I respect them for this window is that they just respected themselves,
Mm.
and the one that they can do, they do. The one that they cannot do, they don't do.
Can't keep
But
the
you also have to
can't keep
understand that,
yourself. Yeah, they hear you.
yeah, they didn't want to do, and they have a lot of positions to fill. It's not like as if they have like they're looking for like two, three players. They needed first of all, they needed like three midfielders, right? They still need one more. They still need one more. So they were always going to have to be smart, and I think they have been. I mean, I didn't even realize that Tillman had that kind of release clause in his contract. Like, you would have to be like in the know of the know to know that kind of detail. Um, so I but I for now it just looks like the squad is average. The squad was okay if you are playing once a week, but now it just looks average because you're talking about Andre Santos, who was warming the bench of a team that finished 10th,
Stop it.
right?
Stop it now. Stop it. There are Chelsea fans watching this. Stop
I
it.
just
If you want to insult Chelsea, insult them directly, please.
no now. I'm not saying anything that is a lie now. I'm not saying anything that is a lie now. Chelsea did not finish fifth now. They didn't finish ninth. We know where they finished. Point
Why are
is
we
that
talking
this
about
guy
a
was
team that is not
underperforming.
playing Europe? I saw a
Yeah,
post.
yeah, it's
Sorry,
okay.
sorry,
You think
sorry,
he was
because
on the bench? Yeah.
I saw a post that said that Chelsea has taken their last international flight. So their next
World
international
champions,
flight is
world
after.
champions will not get visa. World champions will not get visa.
Oh,
But my
No
thing is
one, they
that
just called Chelsea world champion. I don't have visa.
yes,
I have a Chelsea
that's
fan that's here with me like this. World
that
champion, we
that
don't get
that.
visa. But go on, I'm
The
listening. Go on.
point is that the squad now looks average. It still looks average because you're battling multiple competitions. If this is the same squad that Carrick will use in the Champions League, then still bring back for the weekend in the EPL against teams like Aston Villa, Brighton,
Newcastle,
then
yeah.
cool guys, right? I think if you're a Man U fan, you're going to have to really, really, really believe in your team no matter what, man. This is where we will know how strong you are as a Man U fan because I just don't see how they really. I think one or two tournaments would suffer for them to
Mm.
have any real season. I just don't see it because preseason
But
doesn't really give the full picture. But
no,
I just don't
clearly it
know.
doesn't.
Andre Santos, really? I don't know.
Andre Santos is a human being. But let me move to the Man U fan in the house because he was not here when I asked that question. But he was the reason why I started asking the questions. He don't unmute himself. You calm down first now. Why your blood hot like this,
I
Emmanuel?
never talk anything now. I never talk anything.
So but I don't know if you heard my question. Your inactivity in this window is surprising. Yes, you signed Telemann and Andre Santos, but for a team that has not played in the UEFA Champions League since they started this new format, I know you people coming in. You need to do orientation. We that we have been playing it, we need to let you know that it's no longer group stages. We now have a league format. You understand that the rules have changed and
I'll get
whatnot.
used to it.
I know you will get used to it. But the absence of marquee signings, especially coming from a window, a season where, yes, Manchester United won a couple of big games, finished third and made it into the UEFA Champions League. But with the number of games that you could potentially be playing this season and how high octane most of these matches have become, do you think Man U is ready to go into the season and compete for a major title?
To be honest, I don't know. It is tiring at this point that we have not made any signing. You understand? I've not made any marquee signing. You understand? Signing Andre Santos and Tillemans, good signings, obviously, for strengthening your midfield, but they are not the kind of signings you would want as a fan for your club to be signing. And we need signings that would come in and make strong impacts. You understand?
Mm.
Casemiro going, we need someone that can play in Casemiro's stead. You understand? And
Mhm.
looking at two of them now, one of them will have to play with Kobe Mino. And the way Andre Santos plays, I do not think he would give us what Casemiro gave us. You understand? I mean, there were some times that we needed goals. We had someone like Casemiro that could score headers for us easily. Andre Santos
Yeah.
cannot give us that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Tillemans is one that likes entering inside the box to during corner kicks. I think he prefers staying outside. Now we have one less body inside that gives us some sort of assurance
Mm.
for scoring during set pieces. Now, defensively, Andre Santos has been doing well preseason wise, but preseason is not the same thing as preseason is not the same thing
It's not the
as
same as real life.
exactly.
It's not the same as real
Same thing
life.
with Tillemans. Tillemans can do something, but he cannot give us what Casemiro gave us defensively. You understand? Now we
Mm.
need more players. We need a left back because we cannot keep depending on Luke Shaw. Because Luke Shaw played 32, 38 games last season because of World Cup. Because I don't see any reason why that guy played 38 games. I mean, it's only during the World Cup that he comes and he plays well.
Mm.
This one now, there is no World Cup. I don't think he would give us the same amount of games. And we cannot be depending on Harry Hamas or Diego Leon, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I
We
do.
have defenders like Lisandro Martinez, delete injury prone players.
Yeah.
We cannot keep depending on all these players. So I think honestly, like I said, I don't know how we would do this season. We might try, but I really don't know how we will do in all honesty because we have a lot of positions that we need marquee signings to fill in their position, like people that will come in and make instant impact.
Mm.
You get
Okay. Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry for butting in, but I don't know, but do you know that we can play a game of what the starting lineup will look like? You could
Yeah.
literally you could play a game of what does Man U starting lineup look like, and all of us would have different lineups, and we could all be wrong. That's how wild this is for Man U. That's just it. That's just it, man. So
I'm
I feel for
okay.
I feel for
I personally don't feel for Manchester United because Manchester United don't feel for themselves. Whether we like it or not, they've had their moments in the sun. And you made a very very valid point about uh, uh, the way they got Tillemans though. that you need to really, really be in the know. Okay, Benny has joined us on YouTube. He joined us on the chat box and saying Michael Carrick will be sacked next season. I really hope he's not sacked next season. I saw a stat somewhere, Tola. I think I shared this with you. About I think 8 new managers are coming into the Premier League this season.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the first time that 8 managers, there's so many managers,
almost half
new managers, almost
the whole
exactly
pack.
almost half the league having new managers coming into the start of the season. Ben is saying this just made me think about that. But back to what Chata was talking about Tillermans. It reminded me of how Bayern Munich signed Thiago Alcantara. Thiago Alcantara was playing for Barcelona at the time. His agent at the time was Pep Guardiola's elder brother, if I'm not mistaken. Pep, on the other hand, had just signed for Bayern Munich. Unknown to some of us fans, there was a clause in his contract that stated that if he played under a certain number of minutes, his release clause would drop from a particular amount to a way lesser amount. Obviously, his agent was in the know. And Pep Guardiola wanted him. I think Barcelona forgot, or they didn't think about it, or probably because he wasn't really a marquee player for Barca at the time. But the moment that clause was triggered, everybody began to ask how, what happened. You get some of the opinion that maybe Tillerman's agent was aware, because I know Leicester getting relegated and whatnot. I know to a large extent the monies was always going to drop. And probably was offered to Manchester United that they got him on the cheap. So funny thing is that players like that always seem to end up turning up, and maybe end up performing for their club size. But let's move on. Let's move on to more interesting teams, teams that are world champions, and somehow they've not.
What do you mean about more interesting teams?
I do understand.
They really see. We talked about Arsenal just now. There was so much optimism in the air. The moment we talked about Manchester United, look at how the tempo dropped. Do you understand? And that is what Man U is looking like. At least I can even see banter Chelsea, Henderson joining Chelsea. I don't know. Have you guys Chelsea signed Danny Welbeck as well? Yes, Henderson, Danny Welbeck, in the house. Potentially, I know they were targeting Granit Xhaka, but they are not getting their man. Tola, this one is for you. I need your take because somehow you have a way of evading some of these very, very, very dicey things. Especially when it concerns rival clubs and their fans, and you always put me at the center of it all. Chelsea, look at the players they are going after. Look at the players that have come back into the team. They've gone after Henderson and what's his name, Danny Welbeck, who I think are pensioners already. But they've gotten back a Nicholas Jackson. They've lost a Cucurella and might potentially lose an Enzo Fernandez. A new manager, again, in the Premier League, another Spanish manager. What do you think Chelsea's season is going to look like? Also, considering the fact that they will not really require their passports this season.
See, there's nothing to look forward to as a Chelsea fan. That's why they've been very, very quiet. If you notice, they've been very quiet. Now, it's football. Anything can happen. They might pull a Leicester City because they're only playing one tournament. I mean, they're just playing the Premiership and maybe then the Carabao Cup and the FA.
Yes. Yeah.
So they may be lucky enough to pull a Leicester City. But the thing is, I look at the players they have. Look at the players they're going for. I mean, they don't look like a team that is ready to challenge. Not at the moment right now. It's not looking likely. And yes, there's rumor going on about them trying to about Man U trying to sign Lewis Kelly, just to like bolster their midfield. But for now, it's still a rumor. I don't think Arsenal will be stupid enough or dumb enough to sell one of their future players.
Brightest prospects.
Who's currently one of the best players in the team right now. So, I mean, he's a young player, but we can see how good this player is right now.
But talking about Lewis Kelly, you don't think you look at the midfield, look at how stacked it is. Do you think the young man wants games? Because at the start of the season, he looked like last season, he looked like he might get called up for the World Cup. But somehow, with the way he didn't really get minutes, so he wasn't called up. And I believe that it could be Maino.
A lot of players didn't get called up for the World Cup too. I mean, Palmer,
No,
So,
Cole Palmer, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm of the opinion that
yeah.
Cole Palmer's and Phil Foden's absence from that team was
Mhm.
because of their form. Because those guys got
Yeah.
minutes, those guys got time, and they were not able to live up to the hype that they are showing in previous seasons. But
Yeah. But
whenever Luis Kelly was on the pitch for Arsenal, the boys
he balled
seemed to
out.
perform. Do you
But
understand? But the fact that
he
he
played
didn't
in the
get
Champions
enough
League final.
minutes,
So no, he played in the
exactly.
Champions League final last season. So it's not like he's not getting game time. He's getting game time, and he's 19. Let's not forget that he's 19. So
Don't bring that age
he's
here.
no. I'm saying
Yeah,
that
man, you will just scatter this
he has
podcast
time.
now. Yeah, okay, I'm
See,
hearing you.
they
I'm
play.
hearing you.
Don't worry. Time is the ultimate equalizer. So that place you're going to, time will let us know
Mm.
exactly how far, how well it was a good idea to do all that. But that's a discussion for another day. He's
Mm.
19 years old. There is time for him to grow, to better himself, to even learn from some of these players that are in the team.
Okay.
Now back to Chelsea. Right now, Chelsea fans are like of all the top teams in England, they are the quietest. Even Tottenham fans are even making more noise in England than Chelsea fans because they know this season for them may be worse than last season. That's how bad it is. They've lost one of their best players in Cucurella. They've not replaced him. Their midfield is not good enough. Their best midfielder drew up goose egg last season. In fact, not even goose egg. It was a no-show. So bad they didn't even get an England call-up. That's how bad it was. They didn't sign anybody in the midfield to elevate that midfield. I mean, is it Jordan Henderson? Let's be real.
But I've been
In the
watching.
attack,
I've been watching the preseason. I've been watching the preseason, and
Arsenal just
I don't
lost.
know.
Arsenal, Arsenal
No,
lost
Tola, no,
back-to-back
Tola,
games,
no, Tola,
conceding 3 or more goals.
you get where the drive go. Why I'm mentioning this.
Okay, drive which will
A lot of people talked about the fact that Cole Palmer seemed to be missing Nicholas Jackson last season. Do you understand? And Nicholas Jackson is back. And I'm watching the two of them. I'm watching the two of them in preseason, Tola. And that combination from 2 seasons ago, it seems like we are seeing it again. Do you understand? So
Okay.
if Benny should drop one more comments,
So I say,
what's your
Alonso go
problem?
chop am.
Yeah, but I'm of the opinion that okay, maybe with the arrival of Nicholas Jackson, if he ends up staying, if he remains, I'm watching the both of them, and their link-up play is fantastic. Where I'm worried for them is whether we like it or not. Enzo Fernandez is a fine player, but Enzo Fernandez doesn't seem to want to remain at Chelsea. A lot of people said he was twerking for Real Madrid last season. He didn't. Madrid released a statement saying they did not want him. That was weird. Now it looks like he might be reuniting with Enzo Maresca at Manchester City. And Chelsea are saying, you know what? If you want him, bring 120 million and you can have him. A player like that leaving that midfield, I don't think it's work already for Alonso.
Benny don't tell me. I say Alonso go chop am. Now the thing is, I always tell people first and foremost, leave your emotions aside.
Yes.
Leave your feelings aside. You are a fan. You don't own shares. You don't make decisions. You're not part of the decision making, both for the players and the board and the team. These players also have their own life to live. They have their own plans. They have their own agenda. They have their own vision of where they want to be. Remember, if a young bright Brazilian that used to play in Chelsea that went all the way to China. Can't remember his name again.
Yeah.
That fair young. Why did he move to China? The money. Oscar. Thank you.
Yeah.
Why did he move to China? The money. Baba, we are here saying we want our players to stay, we want to win trophies. This guy is saying he wants to win, he wants generational money that will take his whole family and generation out of poverty. Now, coming back to Enzo Fernandez, he's one of the best midfielders. Yeah, thank you, Benny. He's the Oscar. He's one of the best midfielders in the team. He just played the finals at the World Cup, did very well in the World Cup. He's not going to come back to Chelsea. That is not playing Champions League, not playing Europa League, not playing Conference League.
You don't need to list everything out. We know.
Let me list it. Yes, this is my. See, I'm wearing this jersey for a reason. They don't banter us before. This is that. Easy. Banter. Just this is the start place. So, Baba, the more you stay in this Chelsea team, the more your stock depreciates. Unless Chelsea can maybe push for the title this season or maybe even win it. Baba, this season may be worse than last season. Let's face facts. If I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be worried. That's why I say they are very quiet. They don't humble really. They are really humble because they can't talk.
They don't know what he holds.
They can't even talk because of the way they played last season. Baba,
Mm.
English team had 9 positions. They had 9 spots to play in Europe. 9 spots. Chelsea finished 10th. As in, just their case and Nigeria case just be like the same. Africa had 10 spots. Africa had 10 slots to play.
To go to the World Cup.
The World Cup. Nigeria could not pick one.
Nigeria could not pick one.
Not pick one. You see? So that's the thing. So that's how bad the situation is right now for Chelsea. It's really bad. So, like I said, football is not black and white. It's not 1+1, 2. You know, nobody saw Leicester coming to win the league when they did. So Chelsea may, I mean, you know what we say about playing one game a week? It helps. It helped Manchester United qualify for Europe last season.
Emmanuel knows this. Yeah.
Yes. So let's see if the same thing can happen and maybe to help Chelsea. But the problem is that they are not buying right. I mean, they're buying a 36-year-old and they're seeing a 75-year-old, what's his name? This is our former striker, Welbeck, of which I will not lie you, he had a very good season last season for a 34-year-old.
Yeah, by fantasy standards, eh?
Yeah, no, even for his age, he had one of his best seasons last season. So
I personally think Chelsea will cause an upset this season. I think there's something that sometimes I think we just need to give it to the manager. A manager that knows what he's doing, a manager that is allowed to work, a manager that has done it before, although not in the Premier League, but we know Xabi Alonso.
Not with these tools.
well, it's not like when he won the league with Bayern unbeaten. It's not like he had some of the best footballers in the world as well.
Don't say Bayern, say Bayer Leverkusen.
Bayer Leverkusen. When Alonso won with Leverkusen, it's not like he had the best. It's not like he had the best
because they played Europa League finals, so that team was solid.
Well, exactly, it's a team, and the team is what you make out of it. Do you understand?
But this same Chelsea team, okay, let's wait. Like I said, let's wait and see.
All right, league
is in 2 weeks.
Let's move on to a team that had been winning it, but the manager that had been winning it decided that he was no longer doing it anymore. Decided to go home and rest.
Mm-hmm.
And the former Chelsea manager, who seemed to have known that his destination was Manchester City all along, all of a sudden became the coach of Manchester City. After Pep Guardiola left, we're now looking at a Manchester City that is basically changing. Bernardo Silva, gone. Nathan Ake, gone. Rodri looks like he's leaving. Tijani Reinders is saying, I want to go. Omar Mamouche seems like he's leaving. What's the other guy's name again? There's another player. I think Savinho is pushing for a move back to Girona, if I'm not mistaken. Although we are seeing players like Boadidi potentially coming in. What's the name of the other guy that came in from Nottingham Forest at the time for $100 million that played at the World Cup? What's this boy name again? The English player. Elliot Anderson. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Elliot Anderson is playing in the midfield. But like I said, Boadidi is potentially coming. And maybe if Maresca gets his guy, there's a very strong possibility that Enzo Fernandez might join Manchester City. It's a new look Manchester City. There used to be a time that they were always in the conversation. But then again, there was the Pep Guardiola factor. Pep is gone now. My question is, what happens with this Maresca squad? Let me direct this question to Emmanuel. From Emmanuel, I move to Chatterbox. Manchester City this season, should we be scared or should we just, no, I beg, this is another team that has become average?
No, we should not be scared. Why? Because this is a new manager. A lot of players have gone, left the team. A lot of players want to leave the team. So we don't even know the kind of players that would be starting for them or would be on the team list entirely by the start of the season. You understand? So I don't think we should be scared because they have their rebuilding phase. This is the time for them to rebuild. All the things Guardiola has done for them has gone. This is a new manager. He's picking up from a new team entirely because most of the players have gone, like I said. So we should not expect anything serious from them. At the moment, they don't look like top contenders. Truth be told, they have Haaland, yes, they have some players that can make a difference, but on the long run, I don't think they are top contenders. I don't think they are people that we should be scared of or wary of in the league.
Okay. Chatterbox, they have Haaland, but even world class players sometimes need all the support that they can get. You think this Manchester City team, if they do not buy right or they do not assemble correctly, or if Maresca doesn't just seem to get it, do you think Maresca and Manchester City are a good fit?
Well, before I answer that question, please permit me to just highlight two things. Right.
Oh, please go on.
I just want to quickly double back to the Chelsea bit.
Okay.
But I would start with the Lewis Kelly one because my mouth has been scratching me to talk about
Yeah,
it.
I know.
Right. So if you check the Athletic and Hand of Us now this evening, they both they both released updates that Lewis Kelly doesn't want to leave, wants to stay and compete for a first team place. Within that, I think you raised the question about minutes, and I don't think that his minutes would change if he went anywhere else, whether it's Man U or Chelsea. That's my opinion on Luis Kelly. Two, for Alonso, when he first took over the job at Leverkusen, just before he started that season that they went almost all the way, right? He signed two very experienced players. One was Shaka, and then I can't remember the other one. I think Hallman or so.
Okay.
Those were two key signings for him because he wanted experienced heads in the dressing room who could
Yeah.
manage the dressing room, and that approach worked. So it is not surprising that he has gone for the same thing in this window because by getting Welbeck and Henderson, yes, they are slightly older than where Shaka and Holman were um, in that state. But the idea was you need to have guys to police the dressing room.
Yeah.
Basically, has good players inside it. I don't think that Jackson will stay. Doesn't matter the chemistry that he has with Cole Palmer. I don't
Palmer.
think Jackson will stay. The entire squad, the squad needs to be trimmed first and foremost, and Alonso needs to pick his team, and then every other person should go. But because of the season that they're about to have, if he's not clear on the players that he wants to have in the squad, then that's going to be an issue. An issue that I think need to be resolved should be Enzo Fernandez. In my opinion, if they can sell him, they should, because he will always have that question mark about him. When he doesn't play well, they will bring up the Real Madrid thing.
Yeah.
So
Because
they will always
after all,
bring it up.
he indicated that he didn't want to stay. So why you guys forcing yourself to
Yeah,
keep him?
let's not
I
forget
get
this.
that.
This is the team that Alonso is coming from. So it's just going to be a thing. So if Chelsea can sell him, it will not be a bad idea. It doesn't change the kind of thing they're about to have, but it's not be a bad idea. Now
Okay.
to the question of Man City and Maresca,
Manchester City.
they asked,
Yeah.
they asked Maresca, right? He was talking about, because he had like a sit down with journalists earlier, I think yesterday or so, and he was listing out the players that he knew from the last time he was working at the club, right? When he was there as an assistant in that treble winning season. He could
Mm.
not list up to seven. I think you had Haaland, Rico Lewis, Ruben Diaz, Rodri. They were not up to seven. Foden, they were not up to seven that he called, which means in the space of 3 years, that big, massive titan of a team has been broken up in too many ways. So what he has come to meet is basically carcass, right?
Mm.
And it's just like Manchester United when Ferguson walked away. It was more than just the players that left through the door. When Ferguson left, that was That was basically gigs being done. That was basically schools being done. That was basically a lot of players were done.
That was basically Manchester United being done, but Emmanuel will not
But they
understand.
were,
But come on.
Man U
they
still
were,
does not look any much different from
Rest
when
they were
now.
Ferguson
so,
left.
yeah,
Rest now.
As if
right, right,
That was
right,
Man U
right.
being done. I agree,
So
100%.
was so it is more than just players
You
that
want me
have
to
walked
say
out of
something?
Man
No, Allah.
City. Yes, we've talked about Bernardo Silva, but there's also John Stones. There's also Nathan Ake. There's also
Yeah.
and in the years before you have Ederson, Kyle Walker, De Bruyne, Gundogan. I mean the names are too many, right?
Mm.
That have left through the building, and it's not just know-how, experience, mentality. And now you've brought in a manager who thankfully has won trophies, but not at the level as the guy that just walked out. I think that his season hangs on whether Rodri stays or goes this summer. That's the real decider. If Because we know that Rodri has stated that he wants to move to Barcelona, so if an agreement can be reached, then we don't know what's going to happen.
Fuck it.
Uh, right? But if he goes, I think it's going to be very difficult for them this season because he's probably the last player that can help this coach. And if he
Mm.
goes, I don't. It will be quite tough. We can talk about Haaland, but Haaland needs stability behind him. If he can't get that, then he can't perform. That's how it has always
Mm.
been.
Yeah.
So Rodri gives that. Rodri gives that, and if Rodri is not going to be there, for instance, he's injured right now,
Yeah,
but
he is.
if he's not there, then it's going to be really serious. Because I don't know how do you can't really replace that. Yes, you can go and get Enzo, but it's not the same thing. So it really depends on what happens with Rodri. If he leaves, then I think Enzo is going to be have a really tough season. Like you mentioned, there are several other players. Mamouche has been listed as a player that might leave. Reinders too, Gonzalez. I mean, and then they still need people in fullback positions. I don't know. It's another left wing option in case anything happens to Doku. There's still so many things to discuss there, man. And I just don't know.
Wait.
The man
Where
seems
is
very confident.
Grealish? Where is
But
Grealish
I
still in
don't know.
Manchester City?
Yeah, he is, but I
Yeah,
think he's injured.
he's injured. Yeah, Maresca said that he had it in mind to take Grealish with him on this tour, but then he got
Yeah,
injured just
preseason tour.
before
He got injured. Yeah, he got injured before the
he got
preseason
injured.
tour.
So I know that he has some affection for the guy, but I also know that when it comes down to it, Maresca will say that guy should go. So
Correct.
I just don't know. It depends on Rodri actually for me.
All right, so let's move on to more interesting topics. I know you know where I'm headed to. So you've been talking about Rodri, and about how Rodri can basically okay, about how Rodri can basically his absence. I thought I got you about how Rodri's absence might basically just make or break Maresca's season. He's a Ballon d'Or winner for a reason. Captain Spain to the World Cup. Easily one of, if not the best defensive midfielder in the world. One of the best players in the world as well. But my question is this: he's potentially moving to Barcelona. I'll start with you, Chatterbox, and I'll go to Ima on this. We've already seen what Barcelona have been capable of doing over the last 2 seasons since Hansi Flick joined the club, basically dominating uh, 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 um, the domestic scene. In fact, the only title Barca has failed to win in Spain in the last 2 years was the Copa del Rey, where they were knocked out by Atletico Madrid before eventual winners, Rossi said that went on to pick it up. Adding a player like that to this Barcelona squad that can potentially still grow, where does that immediately rank Barcelona to you? Especially if you have already said that he can literally determine a coach's season in Maresca. But then moving to a club that has literally been dominating their own domestic scene, going to join about 7 of his teammates that he won the World Cup with in a league that is practically his home. How does that signing, what does it do to Barcelona, to you? Chatterbox.
I think it raises the level. I think it raises the level for Barcelona in terms of not just quality, but I think maturity. Because you have to realize that Barcelona has a very young squad, very very young squad. We're
One of
looking
the
at boys,
one of the youngest squads in Europe, yeah.
one of the younger squads, and in terms of maturity, I think it gives it. It really raises the level there. Um, I think because of, I mean, Rodri comes in with a lot in terms of experience, know-how. But if you look at the way Barcelona play, there's a lot of you call this notorious high line that they always keep.
It was a highlight
Mm.
last season. I'm watching them in preseason now. It's a heart attack line now. But go on.
It has a high line. But you see, they're not gonna waver from that. Hansi Flick is not going to change that because he believes that there's some benefit to it. To be able to win with that requires some level of discipline, some level of know-how in terms of positioning. And very few players understand this better than Rodri. So I
Mm.
can understand the appeal. There's also the thing that there is no real player that has nailed down that sixth position for Barcelona over time. There've been a number of good candidates in there, but no
That's
one
it.
has really,
Since
really,
Sergio
really,
Busquets.
yeah, since Busquets left, there has been nobody that has really nailed that part very well. We've seen too many people try. I think I've seen Eric Garcia play that role. I've seen
Yeah.
De Jong play that role. I've seen
Yeah.
to some extent Pedri or Gavi. The coach just tends to put too many, but there's nobody.
Marc Casado, Marc Benal.
Yeah,
Yeah, quite a number of
Casado,
players.
just too many players, and I think the coach needs to have some stability there. And Rodri for me is like the epitome of what that role is. And so he raises the level. Barcelona don't just want to be picking up La Liga titles every year. They know that they can do that. Or even the Copa del Rey, they know that they can always pick that. What they want is a first Champions League title since 2015. That's what they want. That's what they want to get. And Hansi
Okay.
Flick has picked up this trophy. He knows what it's going to take to win that trophy. So he's looking for players that can give him that trophy. And I don't think he gets better than the guy that scored the winning goal in the Champions League final that gave Man City their own first
Mm.
Champions League trophy. So I
Mm.
think it raises the level it raises the floor on so many levels for Barcelona. So I can understand the appeal. Yeah, also, his teammates are there, but that's for Rodri. I think Barcelona have it in them. It's part of like the selling point that 8 of us were in this squad with you when we picked up this World Cup, right?
Mm.
So you feel right at home. And I think he also has unfinished business in La Liga, in my
In
opinion.
the La Liga. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think he has unfinished business.
All right. All right.
Yeah. So I think that I think I would be happy if he went because it
Okay.
weakens Man City. It
He
weakens Man
weakens
City and
Manchester City. The enemy
and it
of
helps.
from that standpoint, who am I to argue with you because it's actually very correct. All right, Benny is saying he also on Chelsea. I think Maresca gets sacked too, but not right now. And his reason is because any coach that inherits that kind of rebuild job almost always or always gets sacked. Um, well, he knows the league. He knows the players. He understands the club. He has worked there before. To a large extent, he might get some time. Whether he will click or not, time will tell. But one thing is, I agree with you. It's going to be very, very tedious. I remember with Emmanuel. I'll go to Emmanuel on the same Barcelona issue. I personally don't want to talk about Barcelona. In fact, I don't want to talk about anybody. I want to just drop my opinion. The only person I want to fight with today is Tola, but so far so good. He has been talking very, very well, which is unlike him. I don't understand. So I'm not attacking anybody yet.
See this man. See
But
this man.
Emmanuel, I'm sticking with you on this Barcelona thing. Then I want us to drift into Real Madrid as well. But I'll just lay a low ground for that. Barca have been dominating domestic scene. Obviously, Madrid are not happy about it. Barca are still chasing Rodri, might potentially get him. And like Chatterbox has rightly said, Rodri walks into any team right now fully fit, he will start, regardless of whoever is playing in his position. Rodri will start. But going to Barcelona already for the domestic scene is a big deal. But Barca have also been able to pull Karim Adeyemi. They've gotten Gordon from Newcastle. They are still in the market for a striker. Who they are going to get now, they don't know. And then there's Real Madrid, whom quite a number of players have left. I know Masatono has gone. Carvajal is no longer in is no longer in the lineup. A couple of their young players have moved on, but they started by signing Jose Mourinho. Then we're seeing Denzel Dumfries, we're seeing Bernardo Silva, we're seeing a Mark Cucurella, we're seeing a 29-year-old Diomande, oh sorry, a 19-year-old Diomande in the team as well. And a couple of players that on a normal day would be able to effect some sort of change and possibly challenge Barcelona's dominance, at least in the La Liga. It's Real Madrid. They will always be a threat in the UEFA Champions League. It is their competition. Do you understand? But looking at the signings with Madrid and starting from their manager down to Diomande, who recently just joined them, who I saw in training and looking really, really good, by the way. And then there's Hansi Flick on the other side, who has won the La Liga multiple times, now twice now, and you're looking for bigger fish to fry. Both teams powering up or gearing up for the new season. What do you think the La Liga is going to look like this season with between Barca and Real Madrid, taking it into the UEFA Champions League as well? Emmanuel, I'm with you.
Okay, first of all, like Chatterbox said, Rodri in that team automatically turns you guys to contenders, even
No, don't say you guys. I'm
at
a
where
Barcelona fan here. I'm just the host, please.
okay
But go on.
turns Barcelona into contenders, even at the UCL level. You understand? Having someone like Rodri in that number 6 position, that is
Yeah,
something you guys have been missing since Sergio Busquets left. You
yeah.
understand? Having Rodri in that position, I mean, right now you cannot call one or two
What is Tola
number 6
doing?
players. You cannot call one or two players in that DM that is better than Rodri at the
Mm,
moment. You really cannot call. You understand? We saw what he did during the World Cup. We saw what he could do. We have been seeing what he has been doing over time for Manchester City. You understand? So Rodri in that team, I mean, it is now going beyond what you guys do on the domestic level. It's now going towards what you guys can do in the Champions League. Rodri in that team elevates your team exponentially, carries you guys to at least top 2 in the Champions League. You understand? Now, for Real Madrid, signing Jose Mourinho, I hope that with the signing of Jose Mourinho, we can see the Barca Real Madrid of 2011 2012 rivalry. You
where
understand?
Barcelona were dominating, yeah.
No, I'm not saying where Barcelona was dominating. I'm saying
Well,
where
that's
the
what
two of
happened.
them
That's
were
what
always
that's what
at.
happened there now.
No, I'm saying where two of them were at
Always
loggerheads. You
at
understand?
each other's necks,
When
yeah.
exactly we'll see something fierce. I mean, looking at the El Clasico like 3 4 years back now, it has always been like imagine two players, Madrid and Barca players, after the game, they are going to hold themselves, they are laughing. Why are you laughing with yourself? This is El Clasico. I mean, we need something that gives us that thrill. We last saw it when it was Mourinho and Pep when they were facing themselves, you understand? When the tensions were really, really high, you understand? So I think Jose Mourinho coming back, playing someone like Hans Flick that also has a lot of experience, it will give us that kind of thrill in the La Liga, and we'll hope two of them get go toe to toe with themselves, you understand? Now, with the signings that Real Madrid have made, I think they will do well this season. I honestly think they will do well this season. It's just for Barca to stop them. If Barca doesn't stop them, then I don't think they can do anything to Real Madrid not going in the
Which signings are we talking about? Too? Which signings are we talking about exactly?
So
Yeah, okay.
okay, Emmanuel, take it. I'm with you.
Yes. Yeah. So for the signings, looking at Cucurella in the
Excuse me.
position he has, they've been having problems with that particular position. Real
Left
Madrid, they've been having
their left
problems.
back, yeah.
Yes, they've been having problems. Having Cucurella, we saw what he did at the World Cup. We saw how he has always been a shining light for Chelsea. Even when he plays, everybody says that okay, this guy has been top. He has been a top left back playing for Chelsea. You understand? Now carrying that kind of player into Real Madrid, I think he will do well there. They have a coach like Mourinho. They have Diomande. They had Rodrigo there, but Rodrigo has been injured. And since Rodrigo of last season was not it before his injury itself, you understand? He was not the player we thought he was. You understand? Now having Yan
So,
Diomande there, someone that was up there in the Bundesliga for his team. You understand? So the
yeah,
little
but you know,
additions they had, plus the Bernardo Silva experience that he can bring to the team, also that should show a lot in their team.
my issue with Madrid is they I mean, Kukurela is a very good signing for them. I mean, they had issues with that particular position and everything. Diomande, for me, surplus requirements. They have a lot of attacking threats and everything.
Do they?
Where they actually have the issue, yeah, they do now. Attack wise, they're very good. Rodrigo, Bellingham, Mbappe, Vinicius, they are good. Where they actually had issues was where I thought they were going to fix when the initial link came up with Rodri to Real Madrid. I was like, actually, if Madrid gets Rodri, that would be a game changer for them because that's where they actually have the issues. Their midfield is very, 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 very lackluster. It's very mediocre. They have no creativity, no backbone, no presence in the midfield like they used to have when they had Modric and Cruz. So when they were linked with Rodri, I was like, finally, see me, I support Madrid now. I'm not a fan, but I support Madrid.
That's your
All of a
second
sudden,
team. But go on.
no, that's my Spanish team, not my second team. That's my Spanish team. So all of a sudden, I woke up.
Potato.
The next thing you're seeing is Rodri prefers, what's it called? He prefers Barcelona. I'm like,
Please say that
what
again.
happened?
Say that again. Say that again. Rodri
Yeah,
what?
that's the news now. That's the news. I didn't hear it from him. What I read is he prefers Barcelona.
Okay, very good. I just wanted to
Which,
hear it second time.
which for me, that's an end game signing. If Rodri goes to Barcelona, at least for the next 2 to 3 seasons, they are going to dominate La Liga. Champions League, they toss up anybody's game. But for the next 2 to 3 seasons, if Barcelona ends up signing Rodri, they are going to dominate that league unless Madrid can get a signing that actually is on the same level. Which, if you ask me, I don't think there's anybody in the market right now that they can sign that will elevate their midfield to that level. Because really, how many top class midfielders are there right now for that are willing to be sold? If you go to Arsenal, you have Declan Rice. I don't know about Man U. I don't know about Liverpool. Maybe Florian Wirtz if he gets his act together. If you go to Barcelona, who has almost all the midfielders, Rodri, as if it goes, you have Rodri, Olmo in that midfield. We already saw what that midfield could do at the World Cup. So we know that that's a very, very dangerous midfield. Then, I mean, where are the other midfielders if you're looking at them? PSG, none of them are going to be leaving PSG anytime soon. They're enjoying their football. They're winning titles. They just won back-to-back Champions League. So where is that midfielder that Madrid is going to have to sign to will I say upset or equalize the Rodri signing? I don't see it. So if Barcelona eventually gets Rodri, which is looking likely, that's game over in La Liga for me. Honestly, there's nothing else.
All right, Chatterbox. I don't know if you have anything to add before I say what I want to say on this.
No, I think everything has been said about Real Madrid. To be honest, I support Real Madrid just like Tola. They are also my
Almost every Arsenal fan supports
they
Real
are like
Madrid.
they are like wait now, they're like my Spanish team. It's my Spanish team. I didn't think I would like Moreno like that, but this season I love him. Well, I support him, honestly. But Tola is right now. They didn't really need another attacker, right? They didn't really need another attacker. What they needed was some midfield presence. He called Cruz and Modric. For me, that's not the presence that they've lost. What they've lost is Casemiro. Since he left, there's no real dominating presence there. Someone that can just be in the middle. You just know that he's in there. The game is like, I mean, Rodri is a player that is there. He's not scoring, he's not assisting, but he's there. So they've missed that over the years. And then to even make this worse for any Real Madrid fan, they now gave Xiaomeni a new contract. I mean, it's, I want them to do well, I really do. But if Rodri goes to Barcelona, like Tola has said, it's going to be tough. My issue is that Barcelona need to get striker. Otherwise, this Rodri is just Rodri will just be suffering. But
Okay,
Barca get striker. Who's Barca get striker?
striker. So
Yeah, that's actually true. That's
my
actually
my
true because
my own take on this. My own take on this is um Casemiro is a great player, no doubt, but for profiles, he's not Rodri. They are very, very different. They are very, very, very different players. They both impact the games differently. At least that's from my own perspective. To a large extent, Casemiro was a great player, but Cruz and Modric made him look really, really good. Really, 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 really good. And the talk of Madrid not necessarily not needing another attacker, I think that's also not true. Because for those of us that watched them play last season, the bulk of the threats that they posed, we know where it was coming from. There was never really stability down the other flank because Rodrigo was never really present and his replacement never really got, to kick off. Either it was Hendrick, Mastantuono, or Adagula, whoever required to play from that position or up front didn't really come to the party. Do you understand? With Diomande, it gives them another dimension to the way they would attack. And he's a player that has the pace, he has the speed, he has the trickery to beat almost anybody. And players like that seem to thrive in the La Liga because obviously it's the La Liga, and that's the kind of things that we like to see. But we nobody's also talking about Danny Carval. I said Danny Carval, but Denzel Dumfries, who I don't think will sit on the bench. And automatically, what that does to Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think it justifies the manager not, relying on him at the World Cup and whatnot. Madrid need a midfielder, yes. But the question was for a player of Modric's profile. I say Modric. Why did I keep mixing it up? Of Rodri's profile, was he always going to fit in with that midfield? Because as long as everybody is fit, Federico Valverde will start in that midfield. As long as everybody is fit, Jude Bellingham will start in that midfield. Would Rodri complement them and make them better with the way he plays and with how we have seen him play? We've watched him at the national team. We've seen him at Manchester City, and then there's also a Bernardo Silva somewhere. So these are some of the things that I personally am looking forward to. I want to see the way Jose Mourinho will line up that team. But for Barcelona, the biggest, if I want to speak as a fan, signing Rodri, it's a big deal. My biggest problem with signing a player like that is his injury worries over the last couple of years. And we have a Frankie de Jong, whom if he was fit, I don't think would have gone into the market for Rodri to begin with because this just came out of nowhere. Do you understand? And ultimately, if Frankie is fit and Rodri is fit, one of them, obviously, we know who has the Ballon d'Or, we know who's won the Champions League, we know who's won the World Cup and whatnot. So it means Frankie will probably have to make way because it's basically that's the position where he plays for Barcelona at the moment. Do you understand? So, but his fitness is my own concern. His fitness worries is my own problem. And they talk about the striker. Let me not lie. The way Barcelona have been conducting business in this window, we might wake up tomorrow and hear that they have signed a striker. Do you understand? Look at what happened with Adeyemi and look at what happened with Gordon's. Nobody knew about it. It just happened. In fact, like Tola said, even the Rodri thing said, the only reason why this is dragging, as long as it's dragging, is because of Manchester City. In fact, from my understanding, Rodri had agreed personal terms with Barcelona as far back as the 30th of last month. So all of this one is just between Barca and Manchester City, trying to see how much they can get out of Barcelona because they are still looking at their own targets, talking about Boadidi and potentially Enzo Fernandez. Do you understand? He would have improved Real Madrid because Rodri will improve anything. But in the long run, did I see potentially working out? Maybe not. And then there's also this talk about the presidency of Real Madrid. I don't know if you know this. When the election was holding in Real Madrid, the guy competing against Florentino Perez was Rodri was his guy. Rodri campaigned for him against Perez. So when he lost clearly, and Rodri was saying, "Oh, clubs like that should be run better," and whatnot. The conversation began to. And when I heard that Madrid were in the market for Rodri, people began to ask. People in Spain began to ask questions like, "Okay, with everything that had happened, we know the politics and whatnot. Was Florentino Perez still going to go after this guy?" But somehow he now turned out. I said he wanted Barcelona and whatnot. Me, I personally think he will improve my team. He will improve Barcelona if he manages to stay fit. But I know for a fact, with the player that Real Madrid have signed in this window, there will be a problem. I'm going to end with the last question I want to ask. I'm directing this one at Tola. Then you can bring in anything you want to, or we wrap up the stream, which I think has been going very well. And thank you guys that have been joining us online. We're seeing the comments, we are seeing the views. Really appreciate it. Please do well to share with your family and your friends that love sports, that like soccer, that like especially European football. We give it the best. We also talk about several other things on this podcast, from basketball to African football, and even in the MPFL that'll be coming up, starting I think on the 30th of this month. We promised ourselves that we will do well to watch a couple of MPFL games in at least Lagos and potentially Ibadan this season. We are building a community and we hope you guys can join us. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Tola, my question, I'm giving this one to you, so you take over from there. PSG, we've seen the players they are going for. They're not going for big names. Because if they are going for Ferran Torres, I don't rate him personally. He plays for Barcelona. But is Tola frozen? Or is it me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not frozen. I'm frozen.
Oh, okay.
I just saw a
So,
"here we go soon" from Fabrizio on Twitter. "Here we go soon" on Ferran Torres.
soon. Oh,
Yeah,
Ferran
soon.
Torres. Oh, so I haven't even seen it because I haven't even picked up my phone. But somebody said something. One of these content creators said something, and I'm inclined to agree with him. He's saying PSG is building a strong second team. Now, if you think the minutes that the likes of Dembele and Marquinhos and the top players that play for PSG, if you think the minutes they had in the Ligue 1 last season was not too much, this season they will play probably even less games than what they played last season, and they're building a very, very strong second
I
team.
think
Do you
I think
think?
they want to repeat. They want to repeat on the
Yes.
Champions
Do
League.
you think it gives them an unfair advantage? Remember last season they needed a game against Lens, if I'm not mistaken. Doing was against Lens now, if I'm not mistaken. They had a game against Lens that was moved, and they needed it moved, and the league obliged, in fact, to the complaints and the chagrin of the opposing team. Do you understand? Do you think PSG have an unfair advantage? And for a team that has gone back to back, and you just talked about the three pits now, with the way they are
Well,
signing players and the way they've been moving in the league, do you think they
so
can do a
so
three pit?
they do have an unfair advantage. They have an advantage, plain and simple. Okay, let's go back to the will I say the late 2000s, mid 2010s, where Bayern Munich was dominating the Bundesliga. They were winning all the titles. Whenever there was a hot star coming up in German Bundesliga, Bayern Munich probably had first rights of refusal on that star. So all the best players, as they were developing in the Bundesliga, they were being bought by Bayern Munich because the team was that big. They had the money. FFP wasn't a big thing then, so they could buy anybody, they could pay for anything. Same thing is what's happening with PSG. The only difference is they have a fantastic coach with a fantastic team. That Bayern Munich didn't win that, didn't dominate Europe as PSG is doing right now. And again, the new format also helps with the way it's been going. But the thing is, PSG right now are in the same situation Bayern Munich are in. They're in a league where they are by far the best team. By far. As in, they can wrap up the league with like 6 to 7 games to go. That's how easy the League One is for them. That's why, I mean, people say it's Farmers League. So if they can do that, and they know that where the big money is, where the big success is in Europe, and all they need to do is, like I said, get a second team to compete for them in the what's it called, in the domestic league, and have, you're on mute by the way, and have the main team focus on the Champions League. Like Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, and the likes. How many games did they play in the League One this past season? You're on mute.
They didn't play enough. Not enough.
Exactly. And there's nothing says they can't do that. I mean, it's not like the NBA where if you want to win the MVP, you need to play a certain number of games, or you don't win this. You know, they have a way of making these players play some games. PSG can decide, okay, what Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Vitinha and co. Okay, you know what? We don't need you to play more than 18 games or 17 games in the league this season. The rest of the games focus on the Champions League. That's why we're signing these other players. And it can work. They don't need to sign superstars to win the La Liga and the League One. I'm saying they don't need to sign superstars. They need to sign good players and add them with the ones they have. And they will win the League One easy. So they can focus on the Champions League. The thing is this sustainable? We don't know. Other teams in Europe are also doing business. Arsenal is strengthening. You can see that Barcelona is strengthening. Madrid is also looking for how to strengthen their team. So
Man U is not strengthening anything. But go on.
Man U is taking it slow. They're taking it slow. I mean, they're just coming back to Europe.
They will be slow this season. You will say I said so.
So that's the thing. So it's the thing is they have a good coach. Their coach is one of the best in the business right now, if not the best in the business. And he understands how to manage these players, play to their strengths, play to the team's strengths. And it's been working for him. Back-to-back Champions League winning. Not many teams have done back-to-back Champions League. We used to say when Madrid did it three times in a row that they had the help of referees. Now this is the VAR era where that help is minimized. They still went and did back-to-back. So you have to give it to them. It's an advantage. I'm not going to say it's an unfair advantage. It's an advantage regardless. Let's just hope. Let's just wait and see if it continues to work. Or who knows? Maybe another League One team can step up. You know, there was a time it was Olympique Lyon that was dominating the scene back then.
Yeah.
We knew. There was a time it was Marseille.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s. So yeah, so anything can happen. I mean, oil money helps also. Let's not lie.
Let's not lie.
Oil money helps. You know, there was funny enough, Soccer Chatterbox. You know, there was a time that I was hoping one of these oil tycoons come and buy us now. Back there we were languishing.
You know,
with
Wenger which year.
I did find oil money that year. I did find oil money.
The Chelsea Pepe us with billionaire money. Man City can finish us.
Well, can I before we wrap this up, I wanted to just touch on the PSG matter.
Please
right. The first thing to note is that they've sold 3 attacking players. Barcola could make it 4, Mbaye could make it 5. You need to replace them.
True.
So that's basically what they're doing. They're just replacing the guys that are going. That's why the fee is not massive for the guys that they are bringing in. That's why they're going for guys that they can easily afford, but they have the required experience to compete. So Ferran Torres for me makes perfect sense. I think the gentleman from the guy from Monaco, I keep forgetting his name, Akoliche or so.
Just say Akluch because I don't even know how
Akoliche,
to
right?
pronounce that name.
Just call him
I,
Akonuchi, no worry.
I,
Okay, that works.
I keep
I know,
forgetting how he stepped up. But you know
I know
what?
it's like Akluch, not like
But
Akluch.
we
I
know
know
the guy.
it was in that Olympic team, I think, that finished
Yeah,
second.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was also in this squad for the World Cup that just
Oh, yeah, but
concluded. So, guys,
I don't think he got any minutes in the World Cup.
I think he did, but like very few minutes. I think he
Yeah,
did. I think he did, but very few minutes. The point is that they're replacing players that have already gone. So I don't really see where I like the approach makes sense because they want to be able to prioritize the Champions League, especially after January. When they make the next round. Um, what I always like to hope for in a French league season is you have somebody that kind of drags it for them. For instance, Lens came up last year.
Yeah.
You have Bill has come up in previous seasons. Marseille has come up in previous seasons. The problem is that they don't sustain this challenge for long. If somebody steps up and sustains this challenge throughout the season, then it might get tricky for PSG to continue this approach of resting big players for UCL matches because they
Okay.
would because it is look, you can win all the Champions League titles, but if you lose the league on title by any means, like any stretch of mistake, then you go from being the best coach to be the worst coach. So,
true.
so it's to watch and see. It's to watch and see how they do. But what I'm hoping for is some kind of spanner. Let somebody drag this league on with them and let them be distracted for a while. I mean, but if that's not the
Mm.
case, then we can expect them to be in and around the final again, in and around the final positions for this Champions League again.
Do not worry. Do not worry. This season,
They, they have
Barcelona will make sure that PSG do not make it to the Champions League
they
final.
should buy striker first. Then
Barcelona will make. See, I don't know why.
Mm.
I don't know why I have
Barcelona
this
should
very.
buy
I have this
striker.
very funny. I have this very funny feeling that
That is to be raptured.
Barcelona might just go back and maybe pick Nicolas Jackson.
Hey, whatever works. Whatever works. Whatever works.
Because
I beg.
because
Whatever works.
the rumors are there's a I don't know, Emmanuel, are you still here? Emmanuel, if you don't go sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I
Okay,
am.
Yeah.
oh, fantastic. So the rumors are there is a clause of 130 million euros in what's his name, in Julian Alvarez's contract, or in his contract. But the conversation is that clause states that the money must be paid outright. No, we all know football. Ain't nobody paying 130 million euros outright. Then, if you want to pay in installments or you want to amortize that money, then you're going to have to pay 500 million. That's what he signed. And remember, he signed for 6 years. And he's just this season makes him 3 years into a 6-year contract at the club. So, all of this also has to be taken into consideration. The conversation is also that he was at training this morning with his agent. It's supposed to be like a showdown talk with the club. The club has been evading him. They said they don't want to have that conversation with him since they made their stance public. Barca have given their word to the player that they're going to sign him and this and that. But the way it's looking, I personally do not think it might happen because Atletico Madrid are stubborn, and I totally understand not wanting to sell one of your best players, if not your best player, to a team that you are directly competing with in all competitions, both locally and domestically, and of course on the continent. With that being said, Barcelona need a striker. We've seen them go for a player like João Pedro, Krupi or Beaumont, basically, and then Julian Alvarez. What that tells you is that the manager is looking for a particular kind of striker that fits his mold. A striker that can hold on to the ball, that can keep the ball at his feet, and can bring his teammates into play as well. But where that striker will come from now, I do not know. I know I said we're going to end this conversation, but I'm going to throw this one to Emmanuel. I'm glad he's still here. Because talking about strikers, this guy in question is one of the best strikers in the world. If you're talking top five strikers from last season, we would put him in the conversation, even though he's playing in the Turkish league. He's our own Victor Osimhen. Emmanuel, there's a video of Osimhen that went viral in one of the. Are you with me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I am here.
Fantastic. So that video went viral of Osimhen in a friendly game. I think it was against French opponents and stuff. And we saw him in his elements yet again. Are the conversations true? Do you think the major factor that has prevented Victor from getting signed by a top team is the character he exhibits on the pitch? And at this point, is he still passion or he's just being plain stupid?
In all honesty, I think his attitude should be worked on personally, because I understand when you are having direct confrontations with your teammates when they don't want to pass. That shows that you actually have passion. You want to score. You want to prove yourself. But when you are fighting over, I watched the video from when the player. It was just a push. It was a normal. That is like a normal thing in football. It's normal. Players do it all the time. They push, you go back there. You all you have to do is just stay in front of the player, then just make the player uncomfortable. When he pushes you and the referee sees it, you can fall down, you can dive. And it is justified that okay, he was pushing you and you fell. You understand? Not going there and start fighting and throwing tantrums and doing all those
Mm,
things. I mean, at this point, it is disgusting from him. It is really disgusting from him. Seeing him display that kind of attitude, it is really, really disgusting. And any top scout, any scout watching him do that kind of thing with his previous records will not want to sign him. I think that is one of the hindrance he has been having signing for a big team.
Because he's spoken to what's his name? The Prince of Monaco, that Victor Ikpeba. There was a conversation around that. I think that was only between him and Asel Shola on social media. Then let's not forget the famous one that happened with ex Super Eagles manager talking about Finidi George as well. We've seen it happen on the pitch multiple times, including at the last AFCON. In fact, some people have tagged him, his name, his nickname is Jagun Jagun. You know, he's the war, he's like a warlord. And I understand. I totally get. He's always targeted. People come for him, and players like that need protection. But when you constantly attack, like Benny is saying, Osimhen needs to behave himself. When you're constantly throwing tantrums on the pitch, Chatterbox, I don't know. I'm still saying a player like him with his talent of his caliber, at least a player that from humble beginnings to a large extent, I we had a conversation with I think his manager was his manager. There was a conversation about maybe somebody slapped his father a couple of years ago, and we had that person on Channels TV at the time. I helped facilitate that interview where my senior colleague asked that question: Did you slap Victor's father? So we know the story. He wasn't always big. Now he is big, but we know he can be bigger because obviously when you play for a big club, you can reach your chest and say, "This is where I am. I got here because not because of my talent and my hard work. I'm simply one of, if not the best, at what I do." But do you think this is the reason? And that by this, I mean his character is the reason why this guy is still not where we think he's supposed to have gotten to.
I think it's a part of it, but it's not like the main reason. I think the biggest reason why other teams haven't taken a chance on him is the fact that he commands uh, a large financial outlay. Osimhen commands big wages. He doesn't collect small money. Let's just put it like that. Um, the reason why Galatasaray were in a better position to sign him is because well they can afford the wages to an extent. But you know that Turkey's stance on taxes as well is quite liberal. So all these things work in their favor. But the truth of the matter is that Osimhen commands big money. Now, it's not just the fact that he has always been a firebrand of a player, even from his days in Belgium and France. Before he went, in fact, I had read that this fiery attitude is kind of part of his appeal when Napoli were signing him. It was part of his appeal. It was the fact that you have somebody that is very, they will call it passionate, but we are talking about someone that is going to literally fight for the team on the pitch, right? So how he does it is questionable for sure. Everybody's going to have comments on how he does it. It's not always the right way, but there's an appeal to it. I also think that there's a case of timing. At the time that he was ready for that kind of move, everybody had top strikers in their team. I don't think anybody was looking at him at that time to say, "Oh, I would like to drop my striker for him." I don't really think that anybody was ready at the time that he was good, because the moment he walked into Napoli and won that league title, won the Golden Boot, he was out of the reach of a lot of teams. So I think the timing too is also an issue. So it's a combination of a lot of things. But I think the best part is his his financial package.
Wages.
Look, I like the guy. I like the guy, right?
Personally,
And
so I think,
I
okay, I'm
don't think
listening. I'm
I
listening.
don't think that I think we're looking at the fact that because he plays in Turkey, that's why this conversation is. I don't think it should change the fact that he's one of the world's best strikers, because he already proved it in Italy. I don't think he needs to go to Spain or come to England to show us what he has already shown us. He's a top striker. Anywhere he plays, he's gonna be a top striker. I don't
So,
think he needs to move to
so
show that anymore.
I know Tola wants to say something, but please permit me. I don't think it's just about the wages. On this one, I don't completely agree with you on that. Yes, he agrees a massive financial package, or that's what he commands. But I want to list strikers. If I mention Harry Kane, I mention Kylian Mbappe, I mention Erling Haaland. Right now in football, as far as I am concerned, the next name is Victor Osimhen, ahead of Alexander Isak, ahead of Gyökeres, ahead of Robert Lewandowski, ahead of, mention any other striker. I'm picking Osimhen ahead of that person. And there are clubs that will pay that money. It doesn't end as high as the guys I just mentioned above him on that list. It's ending as high as Mbappe. Definitely not ending as high as Erling Haaland, is on what I'll call them rubber wages at Manchester City. It's not ending as high as Harry Kane at Bayern Munich. There are clubs that will pay, or that can pay that salary. There are clubs that can afford to sign him, and there are clubs that can afford to pay him. Now, I don't have the full picture. I will not come out and pretend like I do. But one thing I know for a fact is, in as much as it might seem like it's all cool and all nice, fighting and, showing all that passion and whatnot, we also need to look at what it can look like to the public. Remember what he did at the AFCON with his teammates, where it looked like he was yelling at Ademola Lookman and whatnot. Do you understand? That, I think, was very unnecessary. It's not the first time he's doing it. We've seen him do it several times. And it's football. It's where guys, they normally now, when that kind of thing happens, people want to step in and then prevent all hell from breaking loose. One of these days, I'm of the opinion they should leave him. I want to see what will happen when he loses his cool. If his intention is to kill somebody or to maim somebody, no, because whether we like it or not, it's becoming tiring for me. I understand how it might look appealing to certain people, but I don't know. It's if he had not done what he did with Finidi, with Tikeba, I was okay. But it's not just on the pitch, off the pitch as well. Now, the case with Finidi, I was privy to a couple of information about that one, and he acted based on information that he had at the time, which turned out not to be true. But he was not calm, and instead went on to react. But that's off the pitch. On the pitch as well, for me, I think it's becoming unbecoming. And in as much as I want to see him play at the highest level of the game, at the point I thought he was going to go to Arsenal, even ahead of Gyökeres. I thought he was going to go to Arsenal. Personally, he's a player that I think might do well at a club like Barcelona, because Osimhen is a fantastic striker. He can be wasteful, but hey, which striker isn't wasteful? The most important thing is that when he matters most, you're putting the ball in the back of the net, and he's not had a problem doing it for the better part of the last 5 to 6 years. Like I said, I will rank him top 4 strikers in the world right now. Victor Osimhen is world class. You are coming up against any team in the world right now, they would watch out for Osimhen. They would do well to take him out of the game, because as long as he's in the game, he can determine the game. That's a world-class player in my books. But the attitude is becoming unbecoming. And if we not feel look ourselves, tell ourselves the truth, I don't really know what we are doing. Tola, have anything to add?
Well, fair enough. Just very good. Nothing much. The thing is that, first of all, Osimhen's quality, you can't deny his quality. You can't deny his abilities and everything. But honestly, at his age, being in his prime, can't be world class and not be playing in top leagues in Europe. That means something is up somewhere. If you're world class and that ability is guaranteed, the top teams will break the bank for you. You've seen players with different attitude. I mean, Luis Suarez beat somebody's neck. He beat some twice, not once. He beat someone twice on 2 different occasions. Baba still went to play for Liverpool and Barcelona, won titles, played for the biggest club in Europe. Osimhen's ability, like I said, is undeniable. But the thing is, there's something with him that is making top clubs to just touch him with maybe 100.
I don't think it's just the money, because there are clubs that can actually afford.
It's not the money. It's not the money. Money is not it. There's something else. And again, with this attitude, Baba, you should not come to England though. The media affairs go chop out.
Because when people know you are like that, they will begin to target you now.
Baba, any small team, now you they go carry for head. So if he really wants to play in a top team in Europe, he needs to check himself. And maybe he believes he can't, and that's why he left to what's it called, to Fenerbahce, where he's seen as a god.
That's all right.
He's seen as a god, because over there he's worshipped and he enjoys it. And like I said, he's a business. He made a business decision. He still plays in Champions League. He plays in Europe, so it's not like he's not playing in Europe. But over there, some things are more allowed. I mean, they are probably more traditional people, so there's some things they allow. Like, yes, emotions go wild, emotions go crazy, and in some places they allow you to express yourself. So I guess he's probably okay where he is right now, and that if that's how he wants it, then I guess that's how it's going to be. But I just think he needs to, like Benny said, Suarez was a racist too.
Benny, you always go far. Benny, always go far.
So that's the thing. I just think there's something up with Osimhen that's making clubs, just big clubs especially, want to distance themselves from him, especially the top leagues in Europe, because it's someone that, I mean, with the shout of we need a striker, we need this, we need that, in the whole, like, Arsenal needed a striker at the time. Chelsea needs a striker right now. Madrid maybe, Barcelona definitely, but nobody, not one of them, has mentioned.
Talking about Victor. Come on.
Exactly, and we've seen him over and over again, year in, year out, season in, season out, deliver in terms of numbers, and also when it matters most
at the biggest stage. Sometimes,
So it's not just the money. Something they swap. Maybe talk about something they swap where we don't know. That's what I would just say.
All right. So I don't see anybody face again, but that's Tola, Soccer Chatterbox, and Emmanuel. Emmanuel was there briefly, but at a point he went missing in action, like his beloved Manchester United have been missing in action almost throughout this entire
We
transfer
are back. We
window.
are back. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
but
This season is going to be hot.
Tola, I remember the last player that said, "I'm back, I'm back." The next thing was my back,
We
my
we
back. Emmanuel, this season I will press your neck. So I can't hear you. I mute. You don't mute yourself.
I swear, if there was one thing I wish Ronaldo didn't say in that World Cup,
Was
it was
I'm
that
back.
I'm back. That's it. Nah,
I'm
man.
back. I'm back. But that's
Nah.
the thing. We
His,
are seeing Emmanuel. I seen
his,
Emmanuel say something similar.
his ego could not resist. He had to
He
say
couldn't.
it.
He had to just take that jab. Anyway, Cristiano Ronaldo got married. As per reports we're hearing, finally
Yeah.
tied the knot with Georgina. He was hoping that he would do it with the World Cup trophy, but people like us that fasted and
That,
prayed made sure that it didn't happen. But unfortunately for Lionel Andres
how,
Messi, he lost his
how can
father.
one man have so many ups?
Trust me. It's very, very possible. Messi lost his father at the age of 68 to an illness that the family decided to keep private. I was asking myself, with all that money uh, in the family, 68 years old, there's a story that was circulating about Messi and how his father was the one that made sure he played for the Argentine national team when he took his videos from the Barcelona media room and got it submitted to the Argentine FA. The FA bosses got to watch the video, and the first thing they said when they started watching the video was, "Why did they record the video in 2 times speed?" Somebody now told them that no, the video was not recorded in 2 times speed. That's actually the
that's
speed at
how far.
which this young man is moving, And at the Argentine FA had to put together an impromptu friendly match against Paraguay to ensure that Messi got his debut or made his debut for Argentina, and that's how, and all this was the role that the father played, moving all the way from Rosario down to Spain when Barca took him in, when he had to go to a moon issue and whatnot. The man working mega jobs to ensure that while his son was in La Masia, because the club was taking a risk on him, paying all that money, not even knowing if it was going to result in anything meaningful at the end. And, he was his first agent, his main agent, seeing him through all the way to where he is right now. And then at the age of 68, one would have believed that probably he would live longer, but God knows best. I might be waxing somehow about this, but I feel for the guy because I lost my own father too. So to a large extent, I understand what he feels like. We wish him and the family all the best. But most importantly, you guys that are watching us, you guys are the real MVP. Better than Lionel Messi, better than Cristiano Ronaldo. Thank you guys for supporting us because sometimes look at the time. This is almost to 12, and some people are actually awake
I
watching
still
us
watching it. I mean,
with their data, listening to us just ramble and talk, and it just shows that man, you guys really, really, you really, really deal with us, and we like it. We appreciate it. We do not take it for granted at all. We this is new coming season. We want to create more wholesome content. Like we want to go out more, film more. Hopefully, Lagos Agbero don't really stress us as much. We want to build. No, we have to say it the way it is because we are based in Lagos
it is
here.
what it is. It is what it
You
is.
get, but we're trying to build a community where we get people to just let's link up, let's meet up, let's network, let's connect, and let's see how hopefully by playing our own little part, we can ensure that football and sports in general moves to the next level. I was talking with a couple of guys at the National Stadium who just got back from the Commonwealth Games. And Mentola, don't worry, off camera, I will tell you some kind of things where I hear. Not be waiting you never hear before.
But it
But
still always be off camera. This thing needs to be said.
no.
Honestly,
See,
it needs to be said.
the truth is I'm trying to avoid lawsuits. And if I say the things I want to say, the next thing you might just
No,
get a
no, no.
mail.
See, it's easy. Always put allegedly in
Allegedly,
front of
no problem. I hear you. This one,
allegedly.
this one now, yes, you know what it's allegedly, but the person in question was there. He was with them. He saw these things happen first hand. And my own question is, why are we still having to deal with these things in big 2026? You
But
understand?
thank God
I've been,
Emmanuel is here. Thank God Emmanuel is here in the group chat. the flag football situation was not the
Mm.
same thing by saying that it is the same story with every different federation. It's still the
No,
same
it's the
story.
same. It's the same story,
Nothing has changed.
bro.
99, 2009, 2019,
It's
2026 is still the
the
same
same
story.
thing, So these are the issues, But we're hoping that together, without our own little way, I've been fortunate to sit in certain rooms. Like I was in a conversation with the CEO of the Nigerian Premier Football League, Otumba Elegbele, on Sunday, and I heard the plans that they have for the league this season. And I wouldn't lie, there are people that actually want to fix sports. There are people that actually want to fix football in Nigeria. You understand? But in our own little way, as stakeholders, I hope we can come together, contribute, and play our own part to ensure that when we are telling stories, we can tell people, man, look at me. This is the role I played. I was there. And I was able to effect this kind of change and that kind of change. We can't do it alone. We need you guys. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for fucking with us. Thank you, my French anyway. Thank you guys so much. We do not take you guys for granted. Soccer Chatterbox, anytime we call on you, you are always here with us. I do not take your opinions for granted. I think I agree with you with everything, because you're an Arsenal fan. Light and darkness doesn't really mix. Really. And we know who is light. We know who is darkness. But now you dark, and me I
Mm,
light. You get
nah, so
so it is what it is. But thank you so much. Emmanuel, you are always ranting. You are always ranting in the comment section. Always ranting in the comment section. I'm glad you were able to come online today to at least say your bit. And I really, 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 really hope that Manchester United disappoints you this coming season. You understand? From the bottom of my heart. And for Benny, God bless you. Everybody that joined us, everybody that will watch this. My name is Theophilus. I'm here with Tola, and we've been doing this for almost 10 years. We hope we will not give up anytime soon. I beg, like, share,
share
subscribe.
and subscribe.
Until we come your way again, keep watching the Doghouse. Peace.
Peace out.